you're not muscling. They call it freak when you're not muscling. They call it freak when you're not muscling. They call it freak when you're not muscling. They call it freak.
Hey, sports fans, this is Robert with WTP Sports Dudes here live on this fine Saturday morning here in Columbus, Ohio. We got our man T1, somebody else, City League TV, driving back from Columbia, South Carolina, picking up his daughter from college. Listen, that's huge, bro. To have a man in his daughter's life doing big things. How you feeling this morning, my brother?
Hey, I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling great. You know, it's really it's a great thing to get that year one out the way. Very successful year, and the future looks bright. I'm proud of my baby, man. I'm proud of my baby. She was 7.5 hours away from home. First time away from home on her own, and she did what she was supposed to do. So yeah, I feel good inside as a father, man. I know it's Mother's Day tomorrow, but I feel extremely great and blessed and thankful as a father, and have a great daughter.
That's a blessing.
For sure, man. That's dope.
Yeah. We also got our man FanDuel Zaya with us here this morning, and he has a little daughter, and pretty soon she's gonna be in college in about 18 years. How you feeling this morning, my brother?
Man, I'm good. Hey, man, listen, girl dads is real important, bro.
Real dog, we real out here in these streets.
For sure.
Happy Mother's Day, though, to all the ladies out there. We ain't trying to take y'all shine at all.
Definitely.
Yeah, we can't take that shot.
Oh, we can for some of them. We can take some of their shine, but we ain't taking it. It's just that we doing what we supposed to be doing, so we shine.
Yeah, for sure. Well, man, let's get into our talk today, man. We're going to be talking about the Power Four conferences. They met on Thursday, and they're trying to iron out the kinks for what they want to do for the CFP in 2026. But before we get into that, we all know that President Trump is trying to pull off this presidential commission so that he can have somebody studying all these irregular stuff that's going on in college sports, with NIL, the portal, all the issues going on with both of those two components when it comes to college athletics. What's your thoughts on President Trump's plan to have a presidential commission to study college sports? What's your thoughts on that?
I don't trust him. He need to go sit down somewhere.
Yeah, you need to go. I'm gonna come back to you and get your in-depth thought on why you think you need to go sit down. But Zay, what's your thoughts on it, real quick?
So Nick Saban is appointed over top of it. So I kind of like the idea. This is not something that we understand as if he does this, then that okay, whatever they find means that's going to be instituted. Because really, I don't think they got enough. He don't have enough time in office. I feel like to actually get anything that they. Because how long would a study take? Will it take a year? Will it take 18 months? And then you got to go through the whole process of getting everything written up and cleared. And the Senate will have to sign off on all this stuff too. So I don't know if they're gonna be able to complete it, but I'm interested of what the findings will be of all the different topics like that they got going on, like the unconstitutional constituted payments from these boosters to these players. That's the main one I want to know, because they're talking about the ones that's like unregulated and nobody knows about them. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely want to find out the results behind that study. And also the title, what is it, 12 or what is it, 10? Title 10.
What does it deal with?
The equal pay between women athletes and male
Oh, that's
athletes.
nine, Title
Title
IX.
IX, Title IX. So I wanna know what they actually mean. What is equal? You know, because one thing we understand is that the men's sports generate more money. So what do they mean by equal? And I'm real curious about the findings for them two topics mainly.
Yeah,
That's a great question right there, Zay. That's a
yeah.
great question. Because exactly, what do they mean? Because all of the millions and millions of dollars come through men's basketball and football. Men's basketball and football actually funds the majority, or if not all, of these universities.
It's all. It's
Yeah,
literally all.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So T1, when you say President Trump need to go sit down somewhere, give us your thoughts on what you mean behind that.
I just don't think that that's his avenue. That would just like be me saying that, you know what, I think I wanna take the head of this cancer research project and see if I can finally come up with a cure that everybody's been looking for the past, 30, 40, 50 years. That's not my area of expertise. And I don't think that that's his either. And I think he should just stay in his lane and continue effing up our country.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I got your thoughts on that question. Now let's talk a little bit about the CFP and what these power conferences are trying to pull off here over the next year or so. But before we get into those questions, how many teams do you think should be in the college football playoffs? Is 12 too much? Was 4 too little? Is 14 too much? Is 16 too much? Is it too little? What's your thoughts? How many teams should actually make the CFP in your opinion?
I'm with every other division. 16. They've been having 16-team playoffs in every other division outside of Division One for as long as I've been watching college football. If it could be done at Division One AA, Division Two, and Division Three, I mean, I'm just very confused on what the problem is and why they even took so long even to get close to what all the other divisions are doing. It makes no sense to me outside of them wanting to have a little bit more control and just the political part of it. But it should be 16, just like every other division.
Yeah, I agree with T1. I think when you move to a 12-team playoff, you made all the other bowl games not matter. So you might as well move it to 16 and give us 2 more games that we gonna all watch and tune into. The only other game I probably really paid a lot of attention to was Michigan and Alabama last year. All the other games, everybody opted out. I didn't want to watch them. So yeah, you might as well just add 2 more games to the playoff, and that'll probably stretch out the playoff for another week or 2. So yeah, I'm for that too. 16.
They've been stretching in playoffs for another week or 2 in all these other divisions since I don't know when, before the BCS era, when you only could have 2 teams going and playing for a national championship, no playoff, 2 teams. So if you lose 1 game, you're done, unless your name was Alabama. 1 game, you're out. Your season's done. That really is the most ridiculous thing in sports to me. One loss just destroys your entire season. That's not fair. When everybody just wants an opportunity and a fair opportunity to compete for a national championship.
Yeah, I like both of the points that both of you made. I mean, on Isaiah's side, the fact that you can get 16 teams, that's going to be 8 really, I ain't going to say really good games, but it won't be. The top 4 teams probably won't play. So you'll get 6 really good games, but it'll continue. You'll really eliminate some of those boring weak bowl games. So I do like that point. And then I mean, you should have parity in college sports where you got 16 in all these other divisions and conferences and levels, so you might as well have it across the board. So I like that point too that T1 made. But with that, do you think that those first set of games will be watered down? Do you think you can get a really good, solid, strong 16 teams, or do you think you're going to have 3 or 4 teams that probably shouldn't be there, sort of like what we saw last year with some of those teams that made it last year with 12 teams?
I mean, just like in the NCAA basketball and probably all the other divisions, just like in the NBA, the NFL. Most 9 times out of 10, the first round is somebody gonna get their face smacked. Somebody gonna get smacked in the first round. We're used to that. That's no biggie to me. If you get smacked in the first round, that's just how the seedings are. If you're seeded number 1 and you're playing the 16th seed, you're supposed to smack them. But the 16th seed have played well enough to have the opportunity to compete. And then there's where you have your Cinderellas and things like that. So I'm not worried about so much about that because, once you cut out the potatoes and the veggies and all of that stuff, you get to the meat, just like right now in these NBA finals. I mean, in the NBA playoffs. We're in the meat. It's the meat section now. First round was pretty easy, but now this the meat. Every team out here is capable of winning it all. So, and I feel the same way with college football. That first round you may have some blowouts, but that's the way it is when you have a 1 versus 8 or 1 versus 16. It's just like that. But it turns around different when that second round comes. You gotta go a little harder. What up, Parlay Pope?
What's going down?
What's happening?
What up with it? You good?
Yeah. Wake up, Zay. Wake up.
Man, I'm still a little tired, bro. A little bit.
Snap out of it. Snap into a Slim Jim, baby.
Yeah. We're going to get Zay's response to that question. Then we're going to bring Parlay Poe up to speed on what we talked about so far and get his perspective on what we talked about.
Yeah,
hey, we've been here for a minute, though. Real quick, my fault to cut y'all off, but we've been in here for a minute, and I ain't hear a shout out our sponsors yet. So, and I can't see it down there on my monitor because I'm driving, but we got to make sure we get them shots out, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm just curious, of how the playoff will look, because I'm not so sure that they're gonna give nobody a bye if they do, and we are used to the NCAA messing up. So, you know what I mean? I like, and as far as the competition, I don't think the 16th team will get popped if they played the 1 seed or if they played the 5 or 4 seed. Listen, this is my whole thought process behind it. Who was this? Let's just throw a name out there. BYU, for instance, they won the Big 12 last year. Who was the 1 seed? Who got the 1 seed in the college football playoff last year?
Oregon.
Yeah.
Do I think Oregon would have just popped BYU? No, I don't.
Well, Arizona State came out of the Big 12.
Yeah, and they played y'all tough.
Yeah, they did.
So I think a lot of these teams that's going to finish 11 through 16. If we did start up a 16-team playoff, bro, I think they'd be hungry, bro. I don't think they just going to go out there and get popped though.
For the first half they'll play, but they get second half. Second half football teams be different if you coach right. You know what I mean? Because after the second half, Indiana they wasn't nothing in the second half.
But the scoreboard didn't say they got popped though. The scoreboard didn't say it.
That's because they scored 2 late touchdowns, 2 late meaningless touchdowns. They got popped. Indiana got popped.
Yeah, that second half, they was trash, bro.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's bring Parlay Poe up to speed on where we are so far in our discussion. We talked a little bit earlier about President Trump's plan to have a presidential commission to study college sports and he's been talking to Nick Saban to try to get this started. What's your feelings on that, one way or the other?
If it's money involved, Trump involved, man. You already know that.
He's trying to get some of that bag.
He try to get some of that bag, man. He try to get some of that bag. And I think, like, he brought in inside people, Elon Musk. He trying to put himself in position to do that. But let the NCAA, well, they can't handle, but somebody need to step in. But I don't think it's Trump. You know what I mean?
Right.
Somebody need to step in, but I don't think it's Trump.
Look, that's all I was saying.
Yeah.
Poe put it good for me. That's all I'm saying. And that's all I'm staying your lane, bro. That ain't your lane, man.
Yeah, like.
Okay. And also, Parlay Pro, how many teams do you think should actually be in the college football playoff? Should it go back to 4? Should it be 6, 8? Should it stay at 12? Should it go to 14, 16? What's your thoughts? How many teams should be in the college football playoffs?
See, I seen the 4. The 4 are good, but with that 4, you still leaving out good teams. You know what I mean? With that 4, you still leaving out good teams. But I like the 12. I like the 12. But the if I had to say so, I'll bring it down to 8 though, for real.
Why would you do that, Poe? Because remember, all the other divisions, Division 1 AA, Division 2, and Division 3, they're 16, and they've been 16 since we've been in high school.
Yeah, but I'm saying like they giving people chances. Like if you got more than like 3 losses, you still get a chance in the NCAA football. You shouldn't be rewarded for that. You know what I mean? You shouldn't get rewarded by losing and still have a chance. That shouldn't. The regular season should count too. So we telling you the regular season really don't count. You just got to beat the hard teams. You know what I mean? Like, because if you got 4 losses and still make the playoffs, and then now you playing good football, you end up knocking off a 2 seed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's fair. You know what I mean? Like, in college basketball, yeah, but not this football.
Why not? It's all the same.
No, it ain't.
If you lose 4 games and go win your conference, and they throw you into the NCAA tournament, you deserve to be there.
Nah, you not. It can't be the same because college football is only like 16, 17 games at the most, regular season, at the most. These dudes in basketball, you playing like 35, 36 games, some 40. If you go to all these tournaments, you know what I mean, stuff like that, you know what I mean, some of these dudes be 40 and 4, you know what I mean, but they don't be playing nobody.
See, the problem I got with anything less than 12 is that the other football, we only thinking about the national championship. It's the other football is going to be bad product because dudes is not going to play in them bowl games if it don't mean nothing. They're not going to play. So if you got 8 teams in the playoff, even 4, bro, it's like 25, 30 other bowl games. It's just not going to mean nothing. It's not going to mean nothing.
Yeah, just gonna be watching football, and then especially like you say, if they opt out. So check this out. So what about this? Shorten the season, and let's make the top 25 mean something. I'll put it's like the 64 teams in basketball. I'll do the top 25, a 10 game season. But I would, before I do anything, give me 2 power conferences. So that we can get this thing all the way
right. Okay.
What you trying to say? You want 2 major conference? Everybody in 2 major conference?
Man, I'm looking at 20 in the Big Ten and 20 in the SEC, and all of them motherfucking Northwestern, all them little schools that really ain't doing nothing. Virginia, you know what I mean? Wake Forest, like y'all I actually think that they should do a whole nother division, really, because I think I said it in the chat the other day. Like Ohio State and Ohio University, like they on different pages. Like really, they shouldn't be in the same division. Ain't nothing about them the same other than them just being a university. You don't have a chance. You have zero chance to win the national championship if you're in the MAC conference or the Sun Belt or whatever all these other Division I teams are. Why are they playing in the same division as Ohio State, Michigan, Georgia, Alabama? I think that that's wrong.
Yeah, but you got to think though, T1, it's not built around sports. It's really built around academics and prestige for your conference.
They still not there. They're still not on the same level.
I know Northwestern's with the academics. We already know
with the academics, but I'm talking about what we really have to talk about is who brings the money into these universities, and it's not the academic side of it.
Yeah.
If you were to take basketball and football out of these universities, they would fail. They would fail. It'd be so many of them closed down, it wouldn't even be funny.
Yeah,
They would fail. You would have half of your sports would be gone, if not over half. Half of your sports would be gone. You would fail if you didn't have basketball and football. They're very important to all of these universities.
Coach Postgame made a statement. He said the teams that just missed the playoffs this past season were the likes of Alabama, Ole Miss, South Carolina, and Missouri. Do you think if any of those teams would have maybe won a game more than what they did, they would have been able to push past an Indiana or one of those other teams that didn't have such a good showing in their CFP? Maybe not Alabama, because Michigan put it on them, so maybe not Alabama for sure.
You know, I thought South Carolina should have been in that playoff last year from the jump. I feel like if they would have been in there, anything could have happened. That quarterback is
That's
just
the four other teams I'm talking about, y'all. That's the four other teams. I think it was four other teams that were qualified to go in them playoffs, and you had that 16-team playoff. There are no buys. I think it was four other teams that could have made it.
Not Missouri.
SEC too.
Not Missouri though.
You said all the SEC teams.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Well, Postgame got right there is all SEC. I don't think Missouri was high enough up there to get there. But I know Alabama, Ole Miss, and South Carolina was. It might have been another ACC team. Miami might have been the other
Miami.
team.
Yeah, Miami.
Yeah, Miami could have got in.
Yeah.
Did Clemson get in?
Clemson got in.
Yeah, they got in.
Clemson got in, but Miami could have got in.
Yeah, or BYU, or Iowa State would have probably been in there.
Yeah.
I can go with that. And you know they would have definitely found a way to get Bama in there. Bama definitely would have got in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely Bama.
And Bama, and I'm not gonna say that Bama couldn't upset nobody, because we can't. I mean, I'm not gonna forget. It was a tsunami. That first quarter of that Bama and Michigan bowl game, it was a tsunami, and that benefited Michigan a lot.
Man, Bama would have got rolled on. What?
If it was dry,
Milroe.
You think if it was dry? Because once the rain stopped, it became a competitive game. Michigan got up on them early because it was crazy and did all of the turnovers and shit. And then it just became a regular game. I mean, Michigan didn't have any offense or anything, and neither did Alabama.
And that's what I'm trying to tell you. Milroe was in such a funk at the end of the year last year. They would have got rolled by anybody.
They was an up and down team. They was a team that was they might have been good this week, then the next week they looked like trash, and they pretty much looked like trash in that bowl game.
Yeah, over the last 3 or 4 games though, they were really horrible. I thought, in my opinion, and I think they ran into a Michigan team that was playing really good defense, and they were playing without the two defensive tackles and Will Johnson, and were able to do what they did to Alabama with a Milrow who couldn't do anything against them. And I understand the weather was bad in the beginning, in terms of probably right before the game, and the field not being ideal for a running quarterback, but still, I mean, they weren't playing good football at all. And I think somebody would have rolled the mess out of them myself had they made it had it been a 16-team playoff, or if they made it into the 12-team playoff.
And that brings us back to what we already talked about during these bowl games and the opt-outs and all of that, to where, you know, you really don't know. It almost ain't worth watching, because you got these players sitting out from this team, these players sitting out from that team. So it's just like almost like a glorified, scrimmage.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, I
that needs to
think
be in the contracts. You should be obligated to play them bowl games.
And they getting paid too. That's one thing that seemed like they should be able to take care of immediately. Like, you getting NIL money, we're paying you to play. You have to play, or you got to get some money up.
Yeah.
I think you void your contract when you don't play in the game.
that,
You
that
just
might be
void
what
the contract to me.
that might be what President Trump is trying to do.
Yeah.
No, President Trump might have heard me talk or something. He's not that intelligent.
Yeah. Oh, you killed the president like that.
Yeah, I'm definitely smarter than that guy.
So
I'm definitely. I think all four of us are. But go ahead.
So what's your thoughts on the Big Ten and the SEC flexing their success to give 4 automatic teams in the college football playoff if it goes to 14 or 16 teams in 2026?
That's a given.
Right.
That's a given, man. They already know them the 2 best conference, man. That's a given.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean, you let the season play out, most likely that 4th SEC or Big Ten team is most likely going to be better than that second ACC or Big 12 team.
Yeah.
I mean, you would, even with that format though, you would still get what? You'll still get four teams from the ACC and Big 12 combined, maybe 5, and then a non-power.
Yeah. We'll talk about that a little bit later on down the road too in this show.
You know, they'll still be trying to be greedy. They're trying to get 6.
Yeah, they gonna shoot for 6 if they can get it. They gonna shoot for that.
Right. They damn sure gonna act like their 6th best team is better than, that second best team in the SEC. I mean, in the ACC or Big 12.
Well, if you know how to negotiate, you always go high first. So you're supposed to say 6 at first.
Yeah.
You're supposed to say 6.
Yeah.
See if they slipping.
Yeah. Well, when we get later on in this next question or two down the road, we're gonna be able to see how they're gonna be able to do that too. So should the CFP in 2025 change the top 4 seeds to the top 4 teams instead of the highest ranked Power 4 conference champs plus the group of 6 now, because it's not group of 5 anymore, it's group of 6 champ. So should it be the top 4 teams at the end of the regular season, or should they still go with those championship teams getting those top 4 seeds?
Dang. That's a good question right there.
That is a good question.
Yeah.
I'm going top 4. I don't like what they did. I don't like how they do. I don't like how they just threw Boise in that top 4. That was, and then for them to not even be in one of the power conferences. I know they played Oregon great in that first game of the season, but I didn't like how they did that. I didn't think that they deserved that.
Yeah. I see what post game just said down there. That's why it probably should be top 4 because I don't think none of them teams was the top 4 teams in the country that got a bye. That's why they all lost.
That's why they all lost. That was bad for all of them, and even the bye itself may be bad.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Because now
that's
you're
why
going up
they do
against a
that.
team who already warmed up and ready to rock and roll. All got popped.
Yeah, and this the thing too, man. Like, we might have to cut this conference championship, bro, if we're gonna keep doing this bye. That's why I'm saying if they line it up 16, nobody should get a bye. Just go ahead, line it up like a bracket, a regular bracket. In the NCAA tournament, nobody gets a bye. You still play a first round game, bro.
Yeah. Even if it's a 16 seed, you still play that game.
Yeah, and I think from what the coaches saw last year, none of those coaches want no bye. Every last one of those teams that got a bye lost. And I think every other coach that was in that playoff, they really feel like, no, I want to get a game and I want to get my team playing. I don't want them waiting. And then you got to play a team that's already back up to speed again. I don't think any of them want to bye. And we agree with post game that that's probably what they want to do. He said, as a fan, he don't want no bye either.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, I can say this too, though. If you get rid of the bye and you tell the team that wins their conference championship that, okay, say, for instance, let's just say Ohio State and we play Michigan. So let's just say Ohio State and Oregon is the Big Ten championship this year. But let's say going into the game, Ohio State is rated lower than Oregon, but then they beat Oregon. But we don't jump from, well, let's say we had 9 and we don't jump all the way up to 3. I say they should replace that seed. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, Oregon the higher seed, but as a conference champion, you could still be able to get into one of them better seeds and play a better opponent than you would if you was a lower ranked team. If that makes sense.
Let me throw this at y'all and see what y'all think about this, because you know in the NFL, you know how they do their playoffs, and after that first that wild card game or whatever, they wait to see how the seeding is then, and the higher ranked team plays the lower ranked team after that wild card game. Like, say for instance, they go to 16 teams, all the teams end up playing, and after that first game, like say some a lower ranked team wins. Should they go and instead of having it 16 against 1 and all that, should they change it to where the highest seed that advances to the second round plays the lower seed that advances to the second round, and so on and so forth? Or should they just keep it straight out like they had it last year from the final ranking that they go into the CFP? Do you understand what I'm saying, or am I kind of confusing or not saying it correctly?
Well, we know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? That stuff always messed with my brain though. Paul might be able to talk about this for real, but like when they do that, it always messes with my brain. I get exactly what you're saying. Like if a wild card team ended up like winning on the road, and then how they switch it around, I know exactly what you're saying. I just never understand. I just gotta wait for the matchup to come out because it don't work in my brain.
Yeah, because it's like the higher seed, like you said, the higher seed always play the lower seed. So what you're saying is you want them to reseed after the after the game, just reseed whatever.
Yeah.
But that's taken away from the number 1 seed's accomplishments, though. You know?
And getting the easier route. Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because if they were number one seed, they want the easy route. You know what I mean? They want to play the lower seed, but sometime when that if that 2 seed get upset, you know what I mean, and then it's like still the lower seed got to play. They got to play the higher seed. You know what I mean? No matter what, if the 2 seed get upset, it's the lower seed got to play the higher seed. I know what you're saying, but that's crazy too.
Yeah, but then somebody would have played Ohio State that wasn't supposed to play Ohio State too, though.
Who's that?
Whoever was the number 1 seed last year, because we was the 8 seed.
Yeah, y'all end up popping. Well, yeah, y'all end up popping Oregon, who was the number 1.
Oh, so
seed.
either way, they would have. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So in this meeting, in that Power 4 conference meeting, they want to go with 4 teams from the Big 10, 4 teams from the SEC, 2 teams from the Big 12, 2 teams from the ACC, 1 group of 16, the highest ranked 1 group of 16, and 3 what they call it? They call it oh man.
Not automatic qualifiers.
At large, 3 at large bids. Yeah.
At
large bids. So what y'all think about that setup? Would that allow a SEC or a Big 10 to possibly get 16 because of those 3 at large bids?
Oh, that was a quick toes.
Yeah. But you know what? Really, SMU messed that up, man. Yeah, SMU messed that up because they thought actually SMU was gonna at least can be competitive with that. You know what I mean? So, like Zay said, they probably gonna try to say 6, but 4 is definite. I think they're gonna get 4 in no matter what. But they're gonna try to say 6, and then they're gonna bring that SMU stuff up. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like they probably try to weed that stuff out, man. Like the lower tier teams. I'm talking about this big bank take lower bank now. Yeah. So they gonna have if they go with
Indiana too.
Yeah, 2 ACC. That's crazy though. 2 ACC, 2 Big 12.
So you know they probably in the room like, nah, I ain't with that. But at the same time, they could possibly get left out and not and have to worry about being in as a at-large bid.
Yeah.
And not get an automatic 2.
Or they can have 3. They can have a good season and have a Miami or Florida State and Clemson play good to where you like, hey, they got to get 3. Now they arguing about the 4th place SEC team and 4th place Big 10 team.
Yeah, and that's possible. So do you think that they should be okay with the 2 bids, that automatic bids that they're going to get, or should you think they should be fighting for more automatic bids, seeing that they're not as powerful as the Big 10 and the SEC?
I don't think you should just be able to just say that, hey, we automatically putting 4 Big 10 and 4 SEC teams in, because regardless, before you play a game, we know that their top 4 are going to be better than y'all's. I don't like that. I think that's political.
No, it's not political. Facts back it up. It was 79 SEC players drafted, and it was 71 Big 10 players drafted, and the next highest was 22.
How many said that? How many Big 10 and SEC said that one more time, Zay?
I said it was 79 Big 10 players drafted, 79 SEC players drafted, and 71 Big 10 players drafted, and the next most was 42 from a conference. So we know where the skill and the talent is.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm just saying though, on any given year, I think the numbers is going to switch up.
Yeah.
Like the number, we got 4 SEC, 4 Big 10. On any given year, like the polls suggest that Alabama, Miami, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Arizona State, and Iowa State would have made it. So that means it would have been 4 Big 12 teams by that theory that would have made the conference, the college football playoff. If you just went by the rankings itself.
Yeah.
So any given year, I don't know. Maybe one year the ACC is very possible that if they have a great year, they could get 5 teams, even with it being automatic 4 Big 10, 4 SEC, and the Big 12 get 2, and the group of 5 get 1. That's all possible.
Yeah. And you know they throwing this stats out, like what you said too. They throwing them stats out to make it like Big 10 4 and SEC 4. You know they throwing all kinds of stats, like the draft stats, who won the last national championships, the margin of winning against other conference. They throwing all them stats out. They throwing all that to make their to make it like we need 4 in. You know what I mean? Automatic.
To me, I think it's a good deal for everybody involved in college football, man. Because the reality is, we've already seen that the Big 12, the Big 10, and the SEC have more quality teams, more quality opponents within their conference than the ACC and the Big 12. I think they should be happy with the fact that they're going to get 2, with the possibility of getting another 1 or 2 in the 3 at-large bids, man, because they got a better chance of getting to 3 or 4 that way than they do trying to get 3 automatic bids, because the Big 10 and the SEC are probably not even trying to hear that. And then, of course, if you give it to the ACC, you got to give it to the Big 12. Or if you give it to the Big 12, you got to give it to the ACC. So I think they should be okay with that, and then try their best to get in with those 3 at-large bids. But I think it's fair to me. I think.
And the Big 12 and the ACC, we see Clemson doing it. They got to get out here in the field, man. Start scheduling these Big 10 teams and these SEC teams out of conference, bro. I mean, if y'all feel like y'all can play with them then.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
So the Big 10 is pushing for the SEC to add a 9th conference game. What's your thoughts on that?
They just gonna play another easy SEC bomb. They don't do nothing.
But you would rather they play them than whatever that team is you be always talking about they play.
Coastal Carolina, Murphy State, Senegal, Mercer.
Southwest Louisiana State.
Right. Yeah. I definitely would rather them play Vandy or somebody down there at the bottom. Mississippi State, Oklahoma.
Yeah, this is what we all want, man. Because what we want to get to at a point in time, I feel like the average football fan, I think we all want a home-and-home game between the Big 10 and the SEC every year. A home-and-home.
Should be. I don't know why not.
Because they ducking smoke for real. They don't want to admit it over there, but they be ducking the smoke.
That's why I say we need 2 power conferences.
Yeah, y'all be.
We need 2 power conferences, and that's all you play. You play teams out of that conference.
It's a money play by the SEC to only have 8 conference games right now. It's a money play to try to get more money by adding that 9 game. That's the only reason why they did that to begin with, because it's a money play.
It's a play to play Charlotte like Georgia does in week 11.
No, but listen though. They just don't front load. Now, most teams got 3 or 4 cupcake games at the beginning. They just put one in the later on in the season to tune up or whatever they're trying to tune up for. It's a money play, because as a team that got a team in the SEC, as a fan who got a team in the SEC, I sort of watch it and listen to it, and that's what it's a money play. They want them to get more money on their TV contract to play that 9th game in conference. Now the Big Ten they've always played 9 games in their conference. Of course, the Big 12 was saying, no, we was playing 9 games too because we played everybody even though we only had 10 teams. So they're trying to force the SEC to do that, which they're going to do, but they want to try to get some money in compensation for doing it, which they're going to have to do anyway. And then on the flip side, they're going to try to go to a format like Zay said, where they have a Big Ten and the SEC, like a challenge where they play a home like that.
It's not going to happen, though, because the SEC think that their schedule is too brutal already in the first place. That's why it's not going to happen.
But it is brutal. It is brutal.
Okay.
It's brutal. Listen. We talked about this before. Look at Florida's schedule.
It wasn't brutal last year. It wasn't brutal last year. The SEC sucked.
That thing was brutal.
Hey, Florida got a brutal schedule, but y'all don't.
And we got lucky, and I said that too. In our first year,
it's gonna be teams that.
But how do you get lucky if it's a brutal conference? How you get lucky and get an easy schedule if this conference is supposed to be so hard?
Well, for one, last year Florida was down, so that helped Texas a lot. Oklahoma was
over half of the SEC was down last year, bro. The SEC looked like trash last year. Let's keep it all real and call a spade a spade. Man, come on.
That's not
y'all true. SEC was exposed last year. Garbage.
Come on, man, stop it. That's not true. Listen, both of those conferences had 2 or 3 solid teams, and the rest of them were down. And that's a fact because we looked at it and we seen it. The rest of them were down, but you had 3 good solid teams in both of those conferences, and then you had some decent teams, and then you had some bums. But that's probably in every conference because at this new age of football with NIL and the portal, it's probably going to be like that from here on out. It's probably going to be like that.
Big bang take little bang.
Yeah,
for sure. So what's your thoughts on the Big Ten and the SEC conference championship game maybe going away, and how do you feel about that?
If they're gonna play this schedule, it should go away though. You know what I mean? Like, what's the use of it?
Yeah, the regular season champion and get ready for the playoff. That's what's most important is national championship. That's what people want. People want a national championship.
Yeah.
Conference championships are cool, but the ultimate championship is a natty. Nobody remembers who the conference champion was back in 2019.
Man, listen. If they not going to make the championship game give you no sort of advancement for the college football playoff, then it should go away. The only thing people were thinking about last year is like, if the wrong team lost in that game, would they even make the playoffs? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like that ain't cool. Don't nobody want to go to that game. You might as well just win and make sure you lose your 2 games and you just miss it. You know? Throw 2 games. But if it ain't like, that's why I said like, okay, if you in the championship game in Big Ten, SEC, ACC, or Big 12, and you got somebody that's ranked over you and you win that game, then you should be able to flip seeds with them. You know, because then that give you an incentive to go to that game and win that game. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that game, if it don't go away, it should be affecting people who make the playoffs or not. You penalizing them for making it to the championship game. What?
And then, too, they was also saying, like, hey, just because you made it to the championship game, you should automatically make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But what if you really garbage? What if you made it to the championship game, but you just made it just by luck or whatever or whatnot, and you go get smacked, and they like you, they should make it in. They made it to the championship game. I mean, it go both ways.
Yeah,
because people was talking about it. Like, you still should be able to make the playoffs. You made it to the championship game.
Okay, well, this next question might answer that for us, so we might be able to answer it through this question. The Big Ten and the SEC are looking at a third-ranked team at the end of the season versus a sixth-ranked team, and a fourth-ranked team versus a fifth-ranked team model to determine the final two automatic spots in the CFP if they get rid of this championship game.
Oh, okay.
What's your thoughts on that?
That's better. That's better. I like that. I like that better.
I would switch one thing about it.
What's that?
I would do what is it? I think the 3 seed should be out of it. I think I would do 6 versus 5, and then 5, the winner play 4. Because I think 3 earned their way. It's when you get to that 4th team in that conference that you be like,
Well, I mean, let's look at the Big Ten from last year. Y'all had Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, Indiana, right? Is that how y'all finished those 4? Was it
Yeah.
4?
No, Ohio State was the 4th team.
That's what I just said. Or I said,
Yeah, but he was just saying the 4. He wasn't. I don't think he was saying no type of order.
So you saying Oregon, Penn State, and Indiana should have been automatically in. Ohio State should have had to play the winner of the 5-6 game.
Yeah, which would have been Iowa and Illinois.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that.
Hey, listen, we understand Indiana, but they play who was on their schedule. Why do they get penalized for that?
No,
That's not their fault.
Ain't nobody else get penalized for all these years.
No, what I'm saying is this: if you're gonna put your top 3 in, why not just play the 4 and 5 game, and that'll replace your championship game, and you go ahead and recoup the money from your championship game with that game? But to have the winner of the 5-6 have to then turn around the next week and play another game against the 4, I mean, that might be a little bit much for me.
Well, I mean, they would have had to play 2 games anyway.
No. They wouldn't. They would. The 3 will play 6, and whoever wins gets in as the 4 automatic qualifier from that conference, and then 4 and 5 will play, and the winner of that will automatically be the 4th automatic person.
So you telling me you can have a 6 and the 5th both win their games and they both get in over 3 and 4? That's what I'm saying. Like, that don't make no sense.
Well, I mean,
over 4 and 5.
But we know at that level in the conference is probably pretty close to parity, though. They're probably pretty evenly matched at that spot.
So I mean, I see a huge drop off when I look at the rankings between Oregon, Indiana, Penn State, Ohio State. It's a huge drop off after that.
It is a huge drop off, but the only reason why they're doing it is to recruit the national championship game money. That's the only reason why they're saying this, because they want to still get that. If you're gonna get rid of the conference championship game, you and not do anything, you're gonna lose money, right? But so they're trying to recruit some of that money by doing this format. That's the only reason why they do it. And I guess we just have to hope that 3 beats 6 and 4 beats 5. We just gotta hope that.
And listen, if 3 loses to 6 and 6 get popped, everybody gonna start crying, bro. I'm telling you, this is what's gonna happen. Everybody is gonna start crying, bro.
Who is the everybody that's gonna cry? The people in the
three, they're gonna be like, why the hell we had to play that game in the goddamn first place?
Well, you should have went out there and won. You should have went out there and won. You have no argument. You should have won.
I'm telling you, it's gonna happen more likely in the SEC than it is in the Big Ten.
No, but check this out though. Check this out. If you don't go to that format, then as the 3 seed, you don't get no game nowhere. You don't make no money. You don't do nothing because you ain't in the championship game. You're not 1 or 2. So you should be happy the fact that you got a chance to play in to get in. And you still might even get in as an at-large bid, even though you might lose that game, because you're still going to be ranked higher than probably anybody else in the Big 12 or the ACC.
You got a point right there.
So, I mean, I think it's a win-win. Your conference going to get paid, you going to get paid, and if you lose, you still probably going to still make the 16-team playoff.
Yeah.
And hopefully we don't start seeing repetitive matchups, though. Two teams playing that already played this year, because that's what it's headed for, too.
Well, I mean, you might end up seeing, like you already know, in the Big Ten, you probably got 5 or 6 teams that you know for a fact that's probably going to be in the top. The way college football is set up now, you automatically know you got 5 or 6 teams in the SEC. You're going to have 5 or 6 teams in the Big Ten, the same teams now. So it's probably going to be the same way. It's probably going to be that.
So it would have been Tennessee. It would have been Tennessee versus South Carolina and Bama versus LSU.
Yeah, because LSU was ranked higher than Missouri. Missouri fell way all the way back there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But when you think about it, though, that's probably going to be what the teams are going to be. You're going to have around your top 6. You're going to have probably the same teams year in and year out in both of those conferences. You might every now and then you might be able to sprinkle in a Minnesota, Illinois. Maryland probably will never get back up there again and be good again like they were several years ago.
I don't know.
Wisconsin maybe even might be able to be one of those teams too. But I don't think the Purdue's, I don't know. I mean, it's possible, man. We have to wait and see. But I really don't see any of those teams being better than Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, USC. Who I'm leaving out? Did I say Penn State?
Penn State, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Washington. Washington can get back.
Every now and then it could happen.
Yeah,
for the most part,
only reason why I say Washington, because if their schedules fall right on any given year and everybody got to roll their ass out of the bed and go all the way out there and play them, it's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be tough, yeah. Would Oregon have to roll out there to Oregon too? Because you're talking about the same time zone, same situation.
Well, we know Oregon gonna be there always. They got the biggest bag.
Unlimited.
I don't know if they got the biggest bag, but they got the biggest.
Name got the biggest bag, but they got the biggest bag in the Big Ten.
Yeah, they got the unlimited meal.
They got unlimited meal. You right about
that.
I'm low key jealous.
Man, that's crazy. It's about if you want to go play for Oregon.
Yeah. So if they do go to that format, will those 4 games garner enough support from the fans to make money like a conference championship game does?
Hell yeah, they're gonna have to play them on neutral sites, right?
Yeah, they're on neutral sites.
Hell yeah. Well, we're gonna tune in. We want to know who's gonna make the college football playoff.
Yeah. But look, that's still gonna be taking. That's crazy because Indiana gonna be mad because it's gonna be taking money away from their city.
Yeah. So do you think they will still have at least one of those games will play in Indianapolis and then the other one will be played somewhere else? Do y'all got another dome stadium in the Big Ten? Or somewhere that y'all can play inside a dome? Y'all could probably do it in Detroit, right? That's a Midwest.
I mean,
they got a dome, right?
I ain't never seen them play in Detroit. I ain't never seen nobody play in Detroit. No Big Ten team. I ain't never seen that.
I don't know.
Well, you know what? It probably could be in UCLA or USC.
Oh, yeah, you go out west. Yeah,
it's just the weather. Yeah.
That would probably be best because then you can hit both time zones and really have a game early at noon, and you can have another one around 4, 5, 6, 7 even. Yeah, and it not be bad on the West Coast. You can still get a 4 o'clock game on their time zone, and it'd be 7 o'clock here for us. Yeah, that would be a good move. That would definitely be a good move.
Well, what's Miller Park? They talking about the Milwaukee Brewers. They talking about Miller Park. That's what they looking at.
Oh, so they might have a retractable roof in Milwaukee to where
Yeah,
they
and then
close
and
it
then
up if they need to.
and then
Yeah, because you definitely ain't playing no outside game in January in Miller
No,
Park,
no,
man.
no,
In
no,
Milwaukee, it's be
no,
freezing
no.
out there.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
they said that one though in the Unidome in Iowa.
what team is in Iowa? They got a baseball team
That's
there?
Northern Iowa State Stadium, but that's what they said they looking into them too.
Okay.
What
But
that
I
hope?
mean, is that an easy travel to Iowa? I mean, I guess
Iowa
they know best.
Iowa's in the Big Ten, so
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean. He said with that whole poll, that shit terrible. Oh, 16,000.
Nah, they ain't
No,
looking at that.
no, that ain't a good look right there.
Nah, one team like Ohio State, Michigan, or Penn State gonna fill that up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
I could definitely see them probably still staying in that the dome in the facility in Georgia, where they have the SEC championship game at Mercedes Stadium, I think it is.
Yeah,
Is that a dome pole? Is that where y'all play the
yeah,
Falcons?
yeah. Mercedes Benz. Yeah,
we
Yeah,
ain't trying to play. Yeah, we not trying to play in Atlanta. That's big. That's SEC country.
yeah, and then they'll probably end up playing in Jerry's World. Will probably be the other.
Oh, that you saying
They would
who?
probably, if
SEC?
it was the SEC, yeah, if the SEC,
Yeah,
that's what they
yeah,
probably would do.
yeah. They definitely get Mercedes Benz and Jerry World. They definitely them two. Yeah, that's definitely that.
yeah. That they play. Y'all play all y'all's meaningful games for real. Really in Atlanta. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's they got bread.
Nah, that stadium, no, that stadium really nuts for real though.
Yeah,
Yeah, that stadium is nuts. So I ain't mad at them for doing that. You know, well, wasn't that stadium in the playoffs?
Yeah, it was in.
Yeah,
It
they use that stadium for everything.
might have been the
they
Peach
do.
Bowl.
They
Might have
use
been-
that in Jerry's World for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, that's all I had, man. If y'all got anything else y'all want to discuss it related to that topic, we can keep going a little bit longer. If not, I'm gonna go get these gutters together.
Yeah, I got mine done last week.
Damn, why you always ahead of me, Paul?
Yeah, James Robinson. Hey, we got a garden in the back. We doing big things over here.
Yeah, I wanted to put a garden in the back, man, but I got these freaking cats, man. These stray cats be lighting my yard up, man. They dropping big ass logs in my yard.
Oh
man.
yeah, man. Like
Every time I cut, I gotta go pick up like 8 logs. Like, dude,
Yeah,
so I
man.
gotta do something about them things, man.
Put some milk in the neighbor's yard.
man, these stray cats be walking around like they running stuff over here,
Nah,
bro.
facts.
Yeah, oh, they damn sure running stuff over here.
Yeah.
They be beating my dog up.
See, like, man.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, I appreciate y'all being able to jump on, man, and us to be able to discuss that topic, man. And hopefully we'll be able to do something again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. If y'all can stretch 9 a.m., it's up to y'all though.
All right.
Just let me know in the chat what y'all want to do.
3:30, man. Tune in. It's a must win for my Celtics, man. It's a must win today.
Must win for sure.
Yeah, man.
All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one, man. I appreciate y'all, man.
Peace.
Let's go.
Peace.